Hello.
Hello.
Hi, you're right.
I'm fine. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Yes, I am good. It's so good to see your face.
I know after I think last time I saw you, maybe last year? No,
Yes. Yeah,
maybe.
no, it must be.
Yeah.
It- yeah.
We met and then a pandemic hit. So
Yes, we did. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. It's been a crazy year.
oh, I know. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen the previous lives, but what I do is I let the other person present themselves. So they say what they want to say about themselves.
Okay.
So off you go. It's all yours.
It's all mine. Okay. Today am really going to talk about a couple of things, I guess, that are really
Mhm.
important to me. So one of those is working in mental health, and I'm going to kind of talk about my experience of working in mental health in a completely different country to the UK.
Mhm.
Um, so that was in Sri Lanka. I'm also going to kind of talk about my life there and how a lot kind of changed from living there as well. Um, Also, I met my partner there, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that
Yeah.
dynamic, meeting him, and also that kind of like long distance relationship
Mhm.
difficulties that a lot of people are going through right now as well. And then a little bit about yoga because it's my life.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, so
yes. So we can start with obviously being over at India. And what I wanted to ask you is because, and it is one of the places, I think I told you this before, that I want to travel. Like I would even go for more than just like a week, 2 weeks, let's say.
yeah,
But the thing is, with countries which are not in Europe, usually there's this of, oh, if I go there, someone is gonna steal my passport and all my life, and I'm gonna be stuck there forever. I'm gonna go there, and someone is gonna kidnap me.
yeah.
There's all this around India or Africa or countries like that.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you is, how is it in reality?
Well, I have to tell you a little story as well. I'll tell you that in a second. But in the reality, actually, like spending time in India and in Sri Lanka, and I've spent in other, I've been to other countries in Asia. I've never really come across anything really like that. It is quite rare, I believe, that it does happen. But obviously, you are told to, be wary if, when you're out there. And I think as long as you're really sensible with your stuff, you're not walking around with your purse in one hand, phone in the other, and you've got, it's secure, it's really unlikely that that would really happen. I think sometimes we can be fearful and it could happen, So I've got a story to tell you about something that did happen. Um, when I was in Sri Lanka living there,
Mhm.
I actually went to a pub before I was getting a train or a bar. And I got on the train and I looked in my bag and my purse wasn't in there anymore. And I was in
Okay.
a very, very crowded train. Looking back now, so my phone was in that pocket as well. So I thought, oh my God, my phone, like, my purse has been
Yeah.
stolen. Who's taken it? But then when I look back and think about that story now, my phone was also in that compartment and wasn't stolen. So you know what I think I did? I left my purse at the bar. So I haven't had anything stolen really. I think at the time I thought I had. But I don't think it was really. But yeah, in general, it's pretty safe to travel, I would say. There's certain countries that maybe you've got to think about whether it is safe to do so. But in general, I've never had really any bad experiences like that.
Hmm.
So,
I think that is the thing is that wherever you go, which is in Europe, you can
yeah,
still have, maybe you even have more cases in Europe because more tourists are around, so people will, decide to go. Okay, there's a lot of tourists. Like in Greece, my purse was stolen in Greece, which I grew up there, as you know.
yes.
And I went in the bus, and like, I mean, this was my fault, okay, because my bag was like, it was pretty open, okay. But yeah, and I got my wallet stolen, and okay, and this is in Greece, which everyone's like, oh, Greece is so safe, we just travel there. And no, it's not like that. It's what you say, that you just need to be aware of
Yeah.
the personal things.
Yeah, and it can, and the thing is as well, it's just a reminder, like it can happen anywhere, even in the UK, things get stolen, people, it can happen anywhere. So it is just about making sure you're just clever with where you put your things in the bag, and just always have it on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how long were you in India?
So I was in India for 2 months. I went there in 2018 to the beginning of 2019. Yeah. I went with a friend. It was a random kind of like, let's just go and do that. And we spent a lot of time down the south, which was where all the beaches were, and it was very, very pretty. And then we spent some time in the north as well, going around a place called Rajasthan, seeing the Taj Mahal. Met a lot of lovely people out there as well, which was really wonderful. And the community just makes you feel very, very welcome. And I think obviously I can talk more about that with Sri Lanka because I did live there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, India was just a crazy, beautiful experience, as well as like scary too, because it was so different to what it's like here, and it was just brilliant. Yeah.
It's like going, well, it's not like, it's going to a totally different culture from us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I do get that. But so how are they with, because you went and you were working in mental health, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how are they with people that they are not from India? So obviously you are from the UK, or someone is from, I don't know, from Germany, and they decide to go there to work. Are the people welcoming, or are they like, oh, okay, it's a different place? So
I think I think the thing with that though is that in Sri Lanka, the project was going on for a very long time before I had gone out there, and we worked in local areas. And they were, they were extremely welcoming to us coming in and supporting. I mean, I did a couple of different projects around Sri Lanka. So I worked in psychiatric wards, doing some work around activities and supporting people with their mental health there, and promoting better well-being and mental health in those wards. I also worked in community projects as well, where we work with people with autism, learning disabilities as well. And again, just bringing those activities that were stimulating and also kind of supporting to the well-being as well. And they loved it. It was really, because you do wonder when you go there, you think, how are they going to react to me as a Westerner coming into an Eastern culture? What are their assumptions of me, or their perceptions of me? But actually, like, I found being in Sri Lanka and working there, everyone to be so welcoming, and they're very much a very close-knit kind of community of people in their villages and stuff. So you do feel very welcome. But yeah, the mental health system is very different out there.
That's the next question I wanted to ask you, because the other countries vary in that aspect. I was talking about this with, I think it was 2 lives before, which I had, I told you when we were speaking on the phone, with a girl which she's a therapist in the US.
Yeah.
We were just talking about mental health and how is it over there, and obviously it's very helpful, the whole system and everything. But then if you see countries which you wouldn't even think about, like Greece, is especially older generations. Like I've mentioned, I've been doing therapy for 2 years because of it. I didn't have like a particular reason to go. I just felt it would help me find out more things about myself, how I react, what triggers me, all that. But yeah, if I turn around and say it, like, to my father or something, they would be like, okay, so what's wrong with you? Like, therapy. Which, sometimes maybe you actually want to see something because something, you've been traumatized or something like that. But at the same time, I feel, you don't have to wait for something to happen, because you could just learn so many things about yourself and better your life in every way. But that's
Yeah.
the thing, like you wouldn't think, like in Greece, which is a European country, and this and that people actually think like that. And even when I started, I was like, oh, should I like tell my friends? They're gonna think like there's something wrong with me and things like that.
Yeah.
But how is it in India with mental health? Like, is it something that, you know, people like take care of their mental health? Does the system help people?
Yeah. So this is in Sri Lanka, love. You keep saying India, and I'm like, it's Sri Lanka. Yeah. So I travelled in India and I worked in Sri Lanka. So it's very different. So in Sri Lanka, there's not massive awareness around mental health at all, really. You know, on the island, I think they only had about 40 psychiatrists or something like that. And mainly out there, mental health is dealt with through medication a lot of the time, rather than therapy like we have here. You know, there's not many therapists in Sri Lanka. You know, like you're saying about Greece, you know, the older generations, there isn't really an understanding of mental health and what that looks like or what that really is. So, you know, you'll find a lot of people going to their doctors saying that they're feeling like their chest is hurting or something like that. But actually, it's not a physical thing. It could just be anxiety. But there isn't much support out there for people with kind of those, you know, anxiety, depression. There isn't really therapy really out there. It's you know, the mental health I did was working with people with a bit more severe mental health issues. But again, you know, there's a lot of misdiagnosis out there as well. I guess it's the same here too, to a certain extent. But, you know, in Sri Lanka as well, a lot of the communities, if they feel something is wrong with their, you know, their child or something like that, they usually do kind of ceremonies and things, or they will go to temple as a way of trying to manage and, you know, cope with the situation that's going on for their family member. So there really is a lack of understanding and awareness out there. And we were probably one of the only mental health services coming over from, there were a couple of others dotted around the country as well, you know, trying to build a bit more awareness about it. You know, even my partner, he didn't know much about it at all until he met me, because I work in mental health. He had to learn quick. Yeah.
Yes, let's talk a bit about your partner and obviously dealing with because that's a big distance. It's not, I'm just gonna take the train, it's 1 hour away. Like how is that experience? Like, I can't even imagine how it might be, especially now with the pandemic and everything, because you can't travel over there.
No. It's been hard, you know. I think I was in denial for quite some time, actually, when it all the pandemic kind of started. I mean, I haven't seen Maddie since 2019, December 2019, and you know, we're in 2021 now. And it's been a roller coaster ride of trying to manage this long distance relationship where, you know, we're both having difficulties with missing each other. You know, lots of uncertainty as to when I can get out there. And just difficulties kind of knowing when will be the next time we actually see each other. I mean, he is 5,000 whatever miles away from me, and you learn to get used to it after a while, but it is painful. And I think for any long distance couple, I have so much respect and you know, compassion for what they're going through, because I think you kind of fight, you know, get on with it. It's like, it's okay. But I think after such a long time, like over a year now, your fight kind of gets a bit less, and you get to a point where you're just actually finding it quite painful without the person in your life. But we cope, and we have hope for our future, a lot of hope actually for our future. So that keeps us going quite a lot, and we make plans of what we're going to do when we do see each other, so that also helps.
Make a list.
Yes, I know, we've got a massive list of things we're doing when I can finally get over there. Yeah.
he come over? Is it easy for him to come over here? Like, what is the? Because I have a friend of mine that she has a long distance relationship and he's trying to come over here, but then there's a lot of paperwork like visas and this, and they deny some people. So this, I'm like, it seems like so hard. I mean, yeah, obviously when there's love and everything, yeah, but how is it for someone to come? How easy is it for someone to come over here?
It's an absolute minefield, to be honest, and it's frustrating. I guess I'm being very honest here. It frustrates me. So because he's a Sri Lankan resident, his passport is actually one of the weakest passports in the world to own.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
So it's very, very hard for him to be accepted in many countries, quite frankly, without a visa. So for him even to come on holiday here, he has to have evidence from his work to say that he'll be going back to work. We have to show evidence that he has responsibilities back in Sri Lanka that he has to go back to. We have to show my bank details and how I'm going to fund him being here. We have to go through a number of different processes. He has to get checks as well for any kind of a TB or things like that, I think, as well. And that is just for him to come on holiday. You know, and normally if you're going to get a visa to come here on holiday, you don't have to have that rigorous amount of paperwork. But because of the country that he is from, and I'm sure it's the same for some other countries as well, it is hard. And I know that he will get stopped at immigration, and I know he will be questioned about why is he here, how long is he here for, and I know he's going to probably get all of that. And that, it makes me really sad, to be honest, that is, you know, the experience that he's going to have of England. Strictly, you know, that's going to be his experience, being questioned before he even gets here. So for holiday wise, you know, this is why we haven't decided to do it yet, because there's just a lot of obstacles that we have to go through. But you know, I mean, if he eventually wants to live here, it's even worse.
Yeah, I bet, especially if you're telling me that, you know, just for holidays he needs to prove so many things, and you have to prove, which makes no sense. Like,
yeah,
you said you need to show your bank details and all, which that's just crazy. I mean, I get that things need to be organized and everything, you know, everyone has to do the right things and this and that, but why make life so hard for people? Like, I had this conversation today about something different about UK. I feel, yeah, okay, I'm not saying cheat the system or, you know, make things, yes, I get that the whole system has to be there for this and that or whatever reason, but you know, as you said, he will probably get stopped how many times, he will have to prove that he is going back. And as you said, what if you guys decide to live in the UK? Like, what will happen then? Like,
I mean, it's a lot of money. So, you know, we would have to marry for him to be here, first of all. You know, it frustrates me that it is so hard, you know, in the era that we are in now, for a multicultural couple to be together in one country, and we have to jump all of these hoops, which, you know, I get, as you said, I get there has to be some sort of regulation of it. I do understand that. But, you know, if he wants to come here and we marry, for example, like, I have to prove our relationship. I have to show them all my tickets going there, personal photos of us, all of this other stuff. You know, it costs about, his visa is over £1,000. You know, and then more money, you know, so it's tough. You know, I stepped into this, I can tell you a little bit of how we met and things in a moment, but you know, I stepped into this not really obviously understanding much about immigration law and understanding how hard it is for people to be able to come here. But obviously now that it is my life and part of my experience now, I just, it's awful, and I feel really, I feel frustrated by it all, to be honest. You know, but that's a hurdle that we will eventually have to manage. But I think at the moment we just try and live a bit more in the present and just enjoy what we can now until having to, this has been the biggest hurdle of our relationship, being apart for so long through a pandemic. And I feel like we can face anything after dealing with this, to be honest.
Yes, I bet after this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
How easy is it? So let's say you decide to move there. Is that easy for you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's not as hard for me to live there. Really, I mean, you have to obviously get the visa and stuff like that as well. But I don't think, you know, if I work out there, I could definitely get one granted. I actually, when I was living out there, I managed to acquire a residency visa. So I was a resident of Sri Lanka. So I think for any future visas that I need for there, I think that's going to help me quite a bit because I've already been a resident. But all the process isn't as rigorous as it is coming into this country at all. No way.
Yes, I don't understand that.
I know. You know, I think for him, I can't really speak for him, but I would say I think he would like to be here and be in the UK and have a chance to be able to experience this life here compared to living in Sri Lanka. Absolutely. I think, you know, but for the both of us, I think we like the idea of, you know, being here for a bit, but also having somewhere in Sri Lanka as well to be, because, you know, yeah, I just want him to feel as welcomed as he can be here. And that's really important to me, and I worry about that for him. Because, you know, yeah.
Yes. What struggles would he face being over here?
Well, yeah.
Let's say he manages to come over here. Is there more things that he would face being here?
It might be things like, because his English, he still needs to get his English kind of qualifications sorted as well. So I think that could be quite a difficult thing in regards to finding work if he were to ever live here. I worry also about potential discrimination that he will face, because it is something, I know we're a bit more I don't want to go into it too much, but I know we are a bit more progressive, but I still think there's a lot that can be done in regards to that. And I worry that he might face that as well. And, you know, that's not something he's used to. And I don't want him having to feel unwelcome in, you know, here. So I'm thinking of it really in that sense, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah.
What if you went there? What struggles are they over there? So if someone decides to go over there for work, or, you know, maybe someone is having a long distance relationship and they decide to go over. What struggles would someone face?
So in regards to there, I feel like from my experience of just spending time there, the Sri Lankan people are incredibly welcoming, and they would look after you. You know, I would be invited over, like, you haven't had food, well, you've got to sit down and have food with us. Like that, you know, even there was evidence, you know, saying that when COVID happened, there were tourists in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan people were like inviting them into their home for free and feeding them and supporting them, because they couldn't fly home. So, you know, the people there are extremely welcoming from my experience anyway. And I mean, it's getting a bit more developed, I think, as well in regards to tourism out there, because it's a beautiful place. So I think, you know, there's a lot of Australians that live out there, have businesses and things like that. And I think from my experience of seeing all these different businesses and living there, I feel everyone melds in really well together. And that's a very different experience to how I worry. It might not happen for Maddie coming here, but I don't know.
How is the situation? I mean, yeah, obviously we read the news and all that, but obviously you know better with speaking with your partner over there. How is the situation now with COVID? So
Sri Lanka managed to contain it quite well at the beginning. So, you know, when we went into lockdown, God, it feels like 5 years ago now. We went into lockdown in March, didn't we? So they managed to contain it quite well. When it all happened, they just stopped anyone coming in. they actually locked down people properly. Like you couldn't go to the shop. You were only allowed out at a certain time to go. So they have very low cases. They still do have very low cases out there, but it's peaked maybe in the last week or two. But again, they're like, you know, containing the communities that it's happening in, making sure they're locked down. They're very in control of it there. And I felt the way they had managed it was actually very, very good. I heard actually in the news that there was a boat that was trying to go into the port in, I think it must have been in the city, and they were like, you're not coming on because of COVID. They were like, no, you've got to go back. Like, we're not letting you on the island. You know, they were very adamant that they stopped all tourism.
Good.
Yeah, but the thing is though, as well, like they had the bombings happen in April. I left 2 weeks after the bombings happened in Sri Lanka. And, you know, tourism just plummeted at that point. So I think, you know, so then they had the pandemic happen. So they're really trying to sort it out as best as they can so they don't miss out on more tourism. You know, they're very protective of that because that is what actually supports them financially quite a lot. Actually, tourism is a really important, you know, important to them. So yeah, and my partner was working in hospitality, so he lost his job, and you know that was very difficult for him as well. Yeah.
How does it work? Because here, when COVID happened, and other countries, but I don't know how it is over there. The government, you know, there was the government scheme and the furlough and this and that. Do they do that over there?
Don't quote me on it, but I'm not sure if actually that happened out there. No, I think people weren't able to get much support in regards to financially and things like that. I think, you know, we had the furlough scheme, we had everything here because we have a lot, you know, we have a lot more money in this country than they do. And I think, you know, that wasn't really available to them. No, from what I know anyway.
Michelle said, lovely to see you, Charlie.
Oh, it's lovely to see you too. It's been so long. Hello.
You've left a great, you're like the hero in the company.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, people speak.
All
like, we will have a statue of you somewhere. So.
And me just like this.
I think everyone needs to be there.
Oh, no.
So, is yoga something that you started when you were in Sri Lanka? Like, how did the yoga story start?
So, the yoga story started a very long time ago. When I was at university about 11 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I was going through a period of mental health issues. I think I was quite anxious at that time. And what I decided to do was try yoga out to see if it could help me in any way. So I went to a studio for the first time ever and fell in love with yoga. And after that, I kind of was doing it on and off to support my mental health. I wasn't really serious about yoga. It was only when I moved to, well, it was only when I went to India and I moved to Sri Lanka that I realized how incredibly helpful it is in supporting my well-being as well as just the spiritual side of it as well. Like I kind of, you know, I'd always kind of, I'm trying to think of the word. I never really realized how spiritual I was until I went and lived in Sri Lanka, really. Like going to temple, there was something very special about that. And then that's when the kind of yoga kind of really started amping up for me, and meditation as well. So when I came home, I was doing yoga a lot more. I started going to a studio that I just love. And yeah, then that was it really. I decided to become a yoga teacher because I think the reason that also happened was because of that connection I felt to Sri Lanka with doing yoga. Sri Lanka's got a very, very strong piece of my heart, really very big piece of my heart. It felt like home living there. So I think I wanted to do something here that felt like I was back there in a way.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So when the pandemic happened, I thought, well, you know what? I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. Let's study and learn to be a yoga teacher. And then that's it. And I teach. I teach twice a week at the moment, and I also just do my own. I attend classes all the time, pretty much. Like, even though I'm a teacher and I can just practice myself, I love to just see new teachers and what they're doing. And yeah, I want to continue with that as well, and progress and do more courses, I think, eventually. Yeah.
Where do you teach? Do you do it through, like, because obviously with the pandemic now, a lot of people are teaching through Zoom and all that. Yeah. So I don't know if you do it through that or.
So at the moment, I have been teaching over Zoom on a Sunday, and I do it at 10 a.m.
First thing in the morning.
Yes. So yeah, so I do that, and I teach. I switch it up sometimes. I do a vinyasa class, which is a very flowy class, and then I do a yin yang, which is flow, and then yin is holding postures for like 3 to 5 minutes, even longer sometimes. But and then on Saturday, I actually teach paddleboard yoga.
Yes, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
When you said it to me on the phone, I told you. I said to you, there you go. I need to say it on the live, so then there's proof. Yes, that I want to try it, and I actually told some friends the other day, and they were like, okay. Yes, you must have like really good balance to do that. I'm not that good with balance, but I am up for the challenge.
Yes. Yes, always up for the challenge. So good.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'll just kind of give a bit of backstory with the paddleboard stuff. So I have an old friend from school who started up a kind of business with her partner. It's Paddle Up, who I am with. And I got in contact, we met at a pub actually. It was really random, you know, like I always do at a pub. And I hadn't seen her in a long time. We got chatting and she told me what she was doing, and it was like a paddleboard hire business. So I went down, and then I said, well, I'm actually trained as a yoga teacher now. And then we thought, wait a second, paddleboard yoga? So yeah, so that's how it kind of happened. And yeah, I started teaching 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And it's wonderful. There's something amazing about being on the water. There's just, and being in nature, because, you know, with the pandemic, we've all been stuck in our homes so much. You know, I work in these 4 walls that you're seeing me in now. So being able to go down to the river and be able to be in this really tranquil space is just wonderful. And everyone always says, oh, I don't think I could do that. I promise you, I've had no one fall in yet at all. Oh. And it's, you know, you move slowly, you move very slow, you're very conscious about your body movement, which is really important as well, because again, it's taking your mind away from all the things that are going on, and it's allowing you to focus with your movement and just with everything that's around you as well. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. And yeah.
So how deep is this river?
Sorry, how deep?
How deep is this river? Like,
you have buoyancy aids. You have something that will help you float. So yeah, so you have your buoyancy aids that you wear. But we have basically a platform, which is amazing. So what we can do is we can actually lock in all the paddle boards around me. So I'm in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're all kind of together, and then you can take your buoyancy aid off them, because you're there. You're really, you know. So no, it's really safe, and it's just so much fun.
So do you have to, like? Okay, let's wait. Okay, so you're on the paddle on the river. Okay, like, do you have to stand up, or like how does it work? Like, if you stand up, it's a paddle. You know, it will like go everywhere.
So a lot of people, you know, some people really just enjoy being on their knees, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, you can stand up. You know, you would think that you would, but the boards are actually quite sturdy. And I think you would think, oh, I'm gonna fall off, but it's literally just about having your feet hip width distance and slowly standing, having a bend in your knees, and you can stand. You really can. And I've had friends come with me who've never done it before, and they stood their first go, and it was incredible to see that. So Yeah.
Yeah, I am going to try it. I've said it.
I have faith. I have faith that you'll be able to do it.
So, okay, so if someone wants to do it,
Yes.
how do they get all the information? Should they add you on Instagram? Because obviously I have your profile from the live.
Yes.
So that's, should they like follow you and DM you, and that's the way? Okay.
So if you want to attend my like personal Sunday classes, then you just send me a direct message. I also have another Instagram which is just for my yoga stuff, and it is a link on my personal page. So you can direct message me and say I'd love to join your Sunday classes, and then that's absolutely fine, and we can get them on board. I usually send the link on the day of the class. And then we'll do it. So paddleboard yoga is slightly different. So you have to go onto Paddle Up UK, and you can book. They've got their website and everything, and you can book the SUP yoga on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will get all the information. I am up for the challenge.
Yeah. You will be joining me on the river, I hope.
Yes. I will take some photos to have proof that I did it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I want to ask you about raising money for India.
Yeah.
Yes, so give us all the information.
So next Sunday, basically, as India does have a place in my heart as well, I loved being there. I've been thinking about India a lot. Obviously, many people might know that their COVID crisis is pretty horrendous out there at the moment. So next Sunday, I am doing an hour and 15-minute class. So 75 minutes, is that correct? I'm terrible with maths here.
Yeah, I'm not good either.
We're both terrible. And it's going to be a yin yang class, and all of the money that is given to me, I'll be sending to a charity that is helping, the COVID crisis out in India, because it's terrible out there, and I want to do something collectively. And yoga was born in India as well. Yoga, it's where it started. You've got all of the teachers out there as well, and I think doing something collectively which is peaceful and very beautiful is just a nice way to raise money, really, for a country that can be peaceful and beautiful. So yeah.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So okay, so it's the same way. So if someone wants to, I mean, I think I saw it on your profile. Like,
yeah.
So is it gonna be through Zoom again? Like, how are you doing?
Yeah, so it's all through at the moment because of COVID. It is all through Zoom at the moment. So again, if anyone does want to join the charity class, then again, just direct message me. And what I'll do is send my PayPal link, because I'm donating as well. So I'm just going to put it all in one place, donate it to a charity. So if people want to join or are interested, then just direct message me, and then I can send the link on the day for the class. And it's at 11 a.m. Next Sunday.
That's a good time.
I know, I was thinking, what time should I do? 6 a.m? And I thought, no one's going to want to be doing that on a Sunday at 6 a.m. No. But it's a charity, so, and any donation is just welcome, so yeah.
Yeah, because obviously if someone doesn't want to do it, you can still donate.
Still donate. Yeah. Still donate. That's absolutely fine. Like, if you don't have the time to do the yoga class or whatever, you can still donate as well. Yeah.
When are you? Is there like because a lot of the time people, when there's donations, it's okay. So it's from the 1st of May until the 10th of May. Like, do you have a day which is the last day that people can donate?
Well, what I would want to do is I'd want people to donate before the class on Sunday. So then I've got all of my people there, and then, if people want to donate a little bit afterwards, that's fine. But generally it'd be great to have the donations in before the class. And then when the class is over, I'm going to send it all to a charity that is supporting the India COVID crisis.
How is India coping with the crisis? I mean, you said it's pretty bad, and I saw from different people, like celebrities and this and that people are helping so much by sending money and
Mhm.
everything. How is, because I have no idea obviously how it works. How is the government? How do hospitals work? I have no idea. Is there a lot of help from the government in helping in different ways with hospitals?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. I don't know too much about it. I do know that they are short of kind of oxygen and things like that. And I know that there's hospitals that are having to turn people away because they are so full. And I can't even imagine how bad it would be. I can imagine people probably being in the corridors, you know, and not having beds and things like that as well. You know, a lot of people are dying a minute out there at the moment. So it's really quite drastic right now. And, you know, any kind of donations I'm sure are really valuable. I know that BA sent out a lot of things from our country to India to support them in the hospitals, which is really great. And hopefully, you know, with more donations, it can help. But the thing with India, there's so many people. You know, you've got the area where the slums are, and where a lot of families live very close knit together in, you know, small communities and spaces. So it's unsurprising in a way that it did spread so quickly as it has. But it's just devastating, and I hope that it gets better at some point soon. Yeah.
How is the situation? I mean, obviously, yeah, whatever you know. It's just I'm asking because your partner is there, so obviously you have more information than what I have if I see the news.
Yeah.
And obviously, you never know with the news how it actually is. But how is the situation there with vaccine?
So the vaccines, from what I know, where my partner is in Sri Lanka, I know that they are rolling out vaccines there. I think it's a bit of a slower process than it has been. I mean, yes, a lot slower process than it has been here in the UK, definitely. So they have the vaccines out there. I mean, with India, I'm actually not entirely sure what the situation is over there. I'm sure there is a vaccination program happening, but again, because the population is so high, you know, thinking about who's going to get the vaccinations first, I can imagine it's a really drastic, very difficult, unorganized situation right now out there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully it will all end soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like everywhere, but obviously because India, I mean, I've seen like pictures and videos, and it's like a war zone out there. But as you said, I can understand it also, because as you said, the population is so much, and people, as you said, it might be like, you know, a room with 10 people living.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I do get that. But you didn't say the most important thing. How you met your partner. We only have 3 minutes left before Instagram turns us off. So we need the positive part. Let's
bring
the love story.
Yes, the love story that is mine and my partner's. Yeah, so we met actually it was my birthday in March, and we met then at where he was working. So he was actually serving us there, and I thought, oh, he's quite attractive. And then we got our cocktails. So this is a funny story. We got our cocktails made by the bar staff, and he brought them over. Anyway, my friend ordered a pina colada that really didn't taste like pina colada, and it wasn't very nice. Oh, no. And I remember we said to him, this isn't very nice. Like, could you make it again or something like that? So that was the first time that we had met. It was pretty bad. And he tells me now that they were all hated us, our table, at the time when we first met. So that went well.
Yeah.
But then, yeah. And then after that, we went, because we loved where he lives. It's absolutely stunning, the beach area. And we went back, and then he recognized me and my friend and invited us to like a party to go to on the beach, like near the beach. And we went, and I saw him there, and I beckoned him over, and we just started talking. And yeah, we just got on so well. And I was still living out there for another month or so. So we kind of exchanged like messenger so we could message each other while we were there. I went and saw him a couple of times, and then 2 days before I was actually due to fly home, I went to be with him, and we went on a date. This was another funny story that happened to us as well. We went on a date to the beach. He took me to this beautiful beach. We had some beers, and then we were like, okay, let's go in the sea. Didn't realise how choppy the sea was. So we got in the sea, and I was talking to him facing like the sand. And he was like, Charlie, look behind you. I turned around, the most gigantic wave was coming towards me. And in my head, I thought, I'm going to die today. I generally, like, I know it's so bad. Like and I'm a swimmer, I can swim, but when it's like that, you just cannot. And it took me down to the bottom of and I couldn't move for a while. And then suddenly I could feel like that. No resistance anymore. So I got back up, ran out the sea. And that was our date.
So you almost drowned on your first...
Yeah, on my first date with him. Yeah, I almost drowned. And then he took me to his mum's house. So I met Amma. So Amma is mother in Sinhalese, Amma. She cooked me a beautiful Sri Lankan food, and she loved me because I could eat with my hands.
Yes.
She was so shocked that I could eat with my hands. And I was like, well, I've lived here for I'm used to eat with my hands now. And so she was really chuffed about that.
But that's how you enjoy the food, though, I think.
You do. You enjoy the food a lot more when you eat with your hands. And I miss it quite a lot, to be honest. So when I do get curry here, I will sometimes eat with my hands again because I miss it. But yeah, we went out. We really got on very well. And then he said, I want to come with you to the capital, because I was leaving the following night. So he got on a bus with me back to the city of Colombo. We had one more evening together, and I remember saying to him, look, don't hold up for me. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to come back to Sri Lanka. I don't know what's going to happen, and then he dropped me at the airport. And I got on the plane and cried and realised that I really liked him, and didn't know what the hell I was going to do, because he was 5,000 miles away from me. The people next to me on the plane must have thought I was mad. I was like ordering gins left, right and centre, crying. I had no in-flight entertainment. My thing was broken. They switched off. Yeah, for 12 hours I was on that plane. They switched off the whole of the system on the plane so they could see if mine would work, and it still didn't work. And I was there 12 hours just thinking about him and crying. Like, I had no films to watch or anything. So I don't know what I did for 12 hours. It's a blur. But yeah, so that's how we met, and we continued talking while I was here. And then we decided, you know what, let's do this. And luckily, obviously, I got to see him in the November of 2019. I went out there for 2.5 weeks, and we realised we really did love each other, and we've continued. It's 2 years nearly now, so yeah. So that's our little fun story. Lots of mishaps.
Yeah, but it's always the best love stories. So this is a good sign, you see. The struggles and like almost drowning on the first date. It's like stories like that. That it's always, I don't know. I feel the best couples have stories like that.
Yeah,
like some crazy random thing, or or like you said, when you first went there, people were like, oh, like where you take drink and this and that. Yeah, but I think you said to me you're going next month. When are you managed? When will you be able to go over there? Is it? Can you travel now, or do you have to wait for the pandemic? Do you need to have the vaccine to go over there?
With that, so they're on the amber list because obviously the list came out. I booked my flights for next month, at the end of next month. So technically I can go out there. I have actually been vaccinated because I work for the NHS in mental health. So I've had both my vaccinations. But then you've got to think about the rules in Sri Lanka as well as here. So at the moment, I can go out there, but it's still umming and ahhing at the moment. We're unsure, really. You know, I've got to keep looking at where the list is going to change again in 3 weeks, isn't it, or something like that. So, you know, we're continuously checking and making sure that, you know, it's safe for me to kind of go there. I mean, people are going abroad for work and for weddings and funerals. I'm just at a point where it's like, why can't I go out there to see my partner now? You know, I don't know why that isn't a rule, but I understand they have to put a limit on some things. But yeah, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Wasn't there, because I think you uploaded it on you did upload it somewhere, because I went in to vote, I remember, because it was some rule that for a new rule to come out to let people travel, that they want to go and see the partners or something.
Yes.
Did anything happen with that?
I have no idea. The petition got it got what it needed to.
When you vote, they send you an email that it went over, like, I don't know, 10,000,
Yeah.
actually can do something. And because I voted, I emailed it the other day, and that's how I remembered now to ask you. Because what happened with that?
I mean, I have no idea. Like, what normally happens is with petitions, if it gets a certain amount of signatures, then it will be considered to be discussed by, you know, I can't remember the cabinet. I have no idea. I'm terrible with politics, but it will be discussed. Yeah. So there's been I haven't heard much about that yet, really, because somebody put that petition out who's probably in a similar situation to myself, who's, you know, they put it's traumatic for people not to be able to see their family and partners for such a long time now, and it's not good for our well-being or mental health or anyone who's having to deal with it. So it's, you know, that's why I think she or he started that petition, and, you know, hopefully they will listen and they will read it and consider it.
Yeah, but by the time they decide to do that, things will be back to normal.
I know, that's the thing. Yeah, so who knows? Fingers crossed.
Yes, exactly.
Fingers crossed for everything. As I said, it's like
for everything.
Yeah, I'm living in uncertainty at the moment a lot of the time, and I do find myself getting quite stressed when I wake up in the morning. I think about all the things that I'm going to need to fill out to even get to Sri Lanka. There's a lot of again, a lot of paperwork. Yeah. I'd need to quarantine here for 10 days when I come home as well, because Sri Lanka's in the amber. So if it stays there, you know, so I just take every day as it comes and just hope that, you know, it goes in green eventually, but we'll see. Yeah.
Nothing can be easy, can it?
No, never.
Okay, because our time is running low.
No.
Yeah, we have like 5 minutes. Is there anything else that you would like to say before closing this amazing live? I think one of the main things really that I do want to say is, I suppose I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health, because I think that it's a very important part of what I do as well. So, you know, I work in mental health at the moment, and I mean, we've had a lot more referrals. I think the pandemic has really caused people to struggle with their mental health a lot more than they would have if we weren't going through this situation at the moment. So I think I just kind of want to finish on just saying how important it is for people to really take care of themselves through this, because it has been traumatic what we've been through as a world. You know, we've had to be locked in our houses, not being able to see people. You know, we've had, in the UK, we've had adverts saying if you go outside, you're going to kill somebody, or you're going to be the responsible for that person's death. You know, seeing that kind of, I'm going to call it fear-mongering, I'm going to say it, fear-mongering stuff can be really impactful on our mental health. So I think the main thing I want to kind of finish on is just ensuring that people really do support themselves and continue to reach out to people if they're feeling low or anxious or anything. Reach out to friends, mental health services. They are available. I think it's really important to just say that, and just do everything that you love and you can do with the limitations that we are dealing with at the moment. Yeah.
that's kind of what I wanted to finish on,
That
I
was the
guess.
best way to finish off. And
Yeah,
see always try to see the positive, because as you said, like a whole pandemic hit and you decided to start, you know, these yoga seminars, or, you know, managing to teach yoga now. And
yeah,
you know, you had that chance by being like, oh, I'm not just gonna sit around and watch television for 24 hours. I need to find something creative. And that's amazing that you managed to do that. And now, like, you're doing this fundraising to help
yeah.
India and collect money through yoga, and that's amazing. And yeah, try to find always the positive and create something out of the
Yeah,
negative, which is this whole pandemic.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I find amazing what you're doing with that. And yeah,
Thank you.
every little bit helps, because yes, you might do this yoga session, which it won't happen, but we're saying it. Like, and you managed to collect even 20 pounds to send over to India.
I know.
It doesn't matter. It's that, you know, you've tried your best to help, you know, a country which is miles away, instead of being like, I mean, even if your partner is from there, yes, you could be like, oh, I don't care. It's like, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
No, try to better the world, change the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, because the thing is also, you know, just one last thing as well. We all live on the same planet. We all live on the same world. No matter where we're from, we all live on one planet and natural Earth. So it's so important that we just support as many people as we can. And yeah, I think that's really important. It's not just, you know, charity is not just at home. It is important to be, definitely, and I do like advocate for that, but also I think it's important to branch that out as well to other places that you feel maybe connected to, or, you know, we're all here together on this one beautiful earth. You know, let's support each other, not hate.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for today. It was an amazing
Thank you for having me.
Well, of course. And hopefully I will see you soon.
Yes.
In the outside world.
Yes.
And not through a phone or a screen. We are getting there. That's good.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on this today. It's been so lovely to talk with you.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Will do. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.